Okay. Hi, this is Jube Dankworth, President of Texas Home Educators, and I was so excited that I reconnected with my mentor who helped me when I started homeschooling. And I'd like to introduce you to Melissa Guthrie, mother of five, right?
Four.
Four? Four, okay. And so was a wonderful help for me back when homeschooling was illegal. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So so I met Melissa in the nursing room at church. So we were sitting there nursing our little guys, and she started telling me about homeschooling. Do you remember that?
Yes, clearly.
Tell me
Clearly.
about it. What was it like back then?
To me, it was wonderful, because I got to teach my kids and homeschool my kids.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand how scary it was. There was a time around in the 90s, before it became legal, that my husband wanted to adopt my daughter.
Mhm.
And it took me 4 years to be able to actually take that step to walk into the lion's mouth,
Mhm.
to have to go legal with it, And so the court sends out somebody to interview us like you do with an adoption. And it was horrifying. But the lady, she interviewed my daughter for an hour and a half in her room. And she came out and she goes, "How did you do it? How did you teach her how to read so well? How did you educate her?" And she was only, I think she was about 7 at the time. I was thrilled, I almost fainted. She goes, "Why didn't you do this sooner? Why did it, I had the papers, but I didn't get it started for like a year and a half."
Mhm.
God was with me the whole way. And I said I was scared about homeschooling.
Yeah.
And she wasn't worried about it at all. She didn't do anything.
Right.
And then another time I had 2 or 3 little guys, and I don't know if it was legalized yet. I don't think it was, but things were really heating up and it was very newsy. And we were warned, if somebody comes to your door, which I suppose would be CPS,
Yeah.
don't let them in, which was very difficult for me to not invite somebody in those days.
Right. Yes, because
But
you were very friendly. You were,
how do you stand there? Anyway,
yeah, I know.
God did this for some strange reason. Um, we had gotten up that morning and had on, go out clothes and makeup. And we walked out the door and we're standing in front of the house when she pulled up.
Oh,
CPS, my next door neighbor had turned us in,
oh,
and she had just moved in. She didn't understand why I had kids in the backyard. And the CPS lady was divine. And we stood there and talked, and she looked at the kids and talked to them, and she could see in the window, I had an American flag in there. And she
oh,
goes, "Are you homeschooling?" I go, "Uh-huh." "This looks great,"
yeah.
and that was God.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, when you were in public, you were like, "Be good, don't move."
Yeah.
If you act up, I will take you to the car and pinch your little arm off. And then if you smacked them or anything, you're always scared CPS would.
Well, now the mamas have cameras all over the grocery stores. You have to just grit your teeth and get them in the car and take them home and have them talk to them about their behavior. We used to have uh, mine were, I had pulled mine out of public school, and so they would just do their drama at the grocery store and everything. And so we started having drills, and so we put them in the car, went to the grocery store, and as soon as they started the drama, went home. And they didn't get their reward at the end of the grocery store like they used to. And they went, "What happened? What happened?" And so we did it again. And then they learned that if they're going to get their snack at the end of the grocery run, and of course, later, as I learned that education wasn't everything, I would have them busy picking up the items, doing the math on the items, reading the labels. We would get them involved in it. But at the
Yeah.
beginning, oh my gosh, because I was learning to transition into an educator, you know, homeschooling mom.
And
And
you were scared because of your husband's job. Y'all were scared to homeschool. What are you talking about? I didn't.
Well, yeah, he was in law enforcement, and if at any point it had become illegal, we would have had to stop. And after a year, we looked at each other and said, it doesn't matter what we saw with our kids. The difference after 1 year at home was just amazing. And it was like, no, we wouldn't ever, get another career, but not stop homeschooling because it was so awesome, the change in our kids. So that's why we were scared. But like our neighbor, he was a vice principal of HISD. So my little 8-year-old, you know how Jessica was. She was bouncing all over the place. So our driveways were together and she's out there playing. I had to run her because, the way she was, I had to let her go outside and play and then
Sure.
come in and do a little bit of seat work and then go outside and play.
Good.
And so he asked over the fence, "Oh, why are you home?" I didn't know he was home because he goes, "Oh, why are you home in the middle of the day?" And she told him all about homeschooling and da 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 da. And she came in and told me how she had told him all of this. And I went, "Okay, we got to do CPS drills now."
You did. I learned CPS in your living room.
Yeah, huh?
No, CPR. I learned CPR in your living
No,
room.
yeah, CPR. We did a CPR class. Yeah. But yeah, we had to do a CPS drill, which was if
Yeah.
I open the door, you cannot be in sight. You have to be back in the back of the house, until because you didn't know.
It's scary.
I know, I know. And, it's only been 19 years since Leeper was codified by the Supreme Court. And, homeschooling has grown. I don't know if you know what the numbers are now. It's like 500,000 in Texas. So remember when there was like a few hundred families, we all knew each other no matter where we lived?
Yes, I was in the only group in Spring Branch and our leaders had to come from another neighborhood to help us out. It was Chuck and Becky Way. They were the nicest people.
Mhm.
They said, "How do y'all want to go?" They were just precious leaders. And there was only less than 10 of us
Yeah,
in the group.
yeah. And that's why when CESTA had their first conference and everything, or I think I went to the first or second one, maybe or third, and it was like I went from, especially pulling out a junior high kid, it was like, how do I do high school? How do I do this? What do I do? And then after the conference, I went, there are too many choices, even back then. And you should
It was
see,
great. This
uh,
conference.
yeah, how do I do all of this?
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. But Melissa was great in that she taught me how to mother. You really did. You influenced my mothering. And from the mothering came the educating, talking with your children, not being on your phone. Of course, we didn't have phones back then. I did, but it was a phone.
Yeah, it's pretty sad what's going on now.
Yeah. And, um, learning to evaluate books. I didn't even know about a Christian worldview, even though I've been going to a good church and all of that. I didn't understand the worldview part until I got into homeschooling. And just a lot of things to learn because, like the grocery store thing, it's exhausting as a mom to answer all those 989 questions every day, but it's good for the child.
Yeah.
It makes a difference.
Yeah. Well, you were educated. You had a great education. Me, in like second or third grade, I lost it. I was like, I hate this. I would open the books and go, yay, a new book, and look at all the pictures, be excited. But when it came to learning, taking tests and all that, man, I flatlined. And so later on, when they would give you 6 weeks reports or something, you go home and you look up this and you do posters and you give a report and all that. Look, A's. Because I was looking it up, I was studying it, and I could explore.
Yeah.
So when it came to homeschooling my kids, I was like, y'all need to learn. First off, learning can be fun.
Yeah.
It does not have to be horrible.
Right.
You don't have to have a teacher for everything. And you can go out and learn by yourself. Get out and learn it and enjoy it. The best one we did, and I mean, I didn't have all the education background that you do, So like when I first started teaching her how to read, oh, it was so fun teaching somebody how to read. Ooh. We sat at the table at 9 a.m. and she just so
Yeah.
and I said, sit on the couch, have our little tea or something. You go, look at this book. And it took off.
Yeah.
When it was more relaxed and how are you feeling and stuff like that. Not to say that there weren't times with the other children when they were all different, when they were like, I don't want to learn that. Okay. But I think the most fun we ever had, we did Konos.
Oh yeah, Konos was good. Unit studies. Yeah.
It was fantastic. You studied Davy Crockett and attentiveness, and then we would dress up like him and then study their childhood. We went through history as we would take the person and do the childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Where did they come from? What were they like? What did they eat? What did they wear? What was it like to actually wear these clothes? And we acted it all out. So we got to live it. When it came to math, I had a lot of trouble with math. They all had trouble with math. And so I would have to I got down to flashcards, believe it or not, flashcards and Skittles.
And Skittles, yeah, there you go.
I would do the flashcards and whoever got a Skittle.
Yeah, Jessica learned her math facts on the rebounder, going up and down. She had to move. She was one of those children that had to move. So we did math facts on the rebounder.
How fun.
Yeah, but it worked for her. Sitting down and doing the worksheets didn't work. So we started doing, but we didn't do Skittles. I think it was M&Ms. And I tell people, I said, every 4-year-old knows how to divide. You get 3 kids and give them 5 cookies.
Good one.
And they know how to divide.
It integrated every part of our lives.
Yes.
Always.
Yeah.
Now it's just exploded how cool it is.
Right, but I'm finding the moms are going, so many of them are going to, what computer program can I have? And they plug their kid into the computer for hours at a time. And we're starting to develop something where we will be teaching the homeschool moms how to homeschool, because that was the first thing you had to learn. And I remember they were talking about deschooling, which is the time when you let the child just kind of get bored until they discover something they want to actually learn, get that love of learning again. Why the mom reads some how to homeschool books, on how to do it and how to, there's so many great things online now for the mom to learn the various methods of homeschooling. Because I had talked with a lady about classical philosophy done in an unschooling method. Blew my mind. Because those are usually considered 2 ends of the spectrum. But she was using the unschooling method with the classical philosophy. And I went, okay, you can mix it and match it however you need to for your child.
Yes.
And that was just,
yeah,
it really did. And, because it doesn't have to be sitting at a desk or sitting at a table for hours at a time. And, especially under 8 years old, they got to move. They got to groove, let them explore, let them do crafts.
And we can do that because we're not 20, 30 kids that we're all trying to control, and the other ones, fall in between the cracks and just the ones get it. Yeah. It's just so rote. And then what do you have afterwards? It's not, you get a lot of it. So I would direct it like we're going to study, the United States and the capitals and all about each state.
Right.
And then each kid could explore it. I mean, I directed it, you had to know this, but then go explore it. The library, man, back then you could hook into the library and the library system all over that part of the Houston area. I think it even went to Conroe, Houston and all that. Right. You could get videos and books and all sorts of stuff. I just type in a subject.
Yeah.
And we would get all this stuff. We even found stuff we weren't studying, like hornblower movies. We were like blown away. This is very cool. Let's go study this.
and now there's all kind. We have a whole page on our website for free resources. There's so many free resources, and that's the other thing is people think that you have to have a lot of money to homeschool, and you don't. You just need to be resourceful to get resources, because there's all kinds of free resources. There's even for the teenagers, they can take classes at MIT and Stanford. They could take the courses and then test out free. So
Awesome.
yeah, I know it's just expanded so much, because me, I was on the computer at the beginning, and my kids actually beta tested Reader Rabbit because the compute community was so good back then. And of course it's grown, but yeah, the children just need so much to do. Well, thank you, Melissa, for your time. And I'm going to stop the recording now.